And someone's like, oh, you guys should do this every night for 5 minutes. Like, just say some Torah. And I'm like, who wants to hear us for 5 minutes? But maybe hear your favorite speakers. And Instagram has like this limit on videos. You can only post like 60 seconds. I'm like, let's do 60 seconds. Like, it should be a minute every single day. And someone in the comments were like, yeah, like meaningful minute. I'm like, yeah.
So that's where it started. That's where Meaningful Minute came from.
March 15th, 2017.
None of your business, Oshi. None of your business, Michael.
It's the None of Your Business podcast, hosted by Michael and Oshi.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the None of Your Business podcast. We love that you guys are subscribing, commenting, liking, disliking, getting involved. Give us your feedback. We love every second of it. Thank you, of course, to Prime Source and the family of Prime Source for always being there for our wonderful cameras and our lights and our systems, and Stefan and William and all the behind the scenes. We have an amazing episode coming up today, and I can't wait to introduce you, so I'm just going to go straight into it. Guys, take a look at who's here. I don't think you
redhead.
I don't even. By the way, the most softly spoken redhead I've ever met in my life.
Really?
I can tell you, yes.
I think I'm just tired. I think I once upon a time wasn't softly spoken, and now I'm media trained, you know?
You know, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself simply because
you can't do that.
I don't think you do that a lot. I think you're always the one that has to have other people introduce themselves.
Do you typically like introduce your guests, or do you let them introduce themselves?
I like recently I just like jumping right in. It's just incognito, boom. Like most of my guests don't even know when I hit record. And like 10 minutes in, they're like, oh, when are we starting? I'm like, oh, we started.
Well,
already.
guess what? We did that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's the way,
Yeah.
that's the way to go.
But all the big podcasts, that's what they do. They just dive right into it.
I mean, so like if we were just like, in a process of getting to know you, what would you say about yourself? And Nachi, say hello.
Yeah.
I'm to the world,
really curious to know,
our fans.
I'm curious to know about Nachi, your background, where you come from, how you got started in all of this.
Yeah.
You obviously didn't just wake up one morning and say, hey, let me start a podcast. Sure, lots of things led up to that.
Right.
So I'm just curious, like, where you come from, where you grew up, where you were,
For sure.
Give us a little bit of your story.
I'll answer, but what's this button? What happens if that answers a lot about
I wasn't
me.
even sure what I was going to do.
This is going to be a none of your business button.
Okay.
We're getting
I was just eyeing that down the entire time.
That's smart. That's smart.
Okay, so I am now 29.
Why are you young?
I feel old.
Wow.
You think I'm young?
I did not see that coming. I thought you were older.
I will be 29 forever. I'm turning 30 soon, but I'm not going to let go of 29.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's when it hits you. Once you hit 30.
Are you excited for 30 or you're nervous?
No, I don't want to age.
You don't want to.
I still feel like I still remember when I was 19, and I wish I was 19 still.
That young? No, I wouldn't want to be 19 again.
Why?
I don't know. That's too young. I feel like I'm more developed now and more freedom. I can do what I want.
24.
At 19, I was still struggling. I was still like trying to find myself.
I'm in my 40s. The 30s was the best.
Really?
The best decade. Of
Right.
my life.
I agree.
Look forward to? Yeah, 30s are
A
good.
lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
You have
I'm encroaching on 40 now, and
perfect-
I'm not. Now I'm nervous. But 30s was my best 10 years.
I just find that the
My
older I
best.
get, the more like foods I'm trying. Like
Yeah.
coleslaw becomes a thing.
Coleslaw.
Herring.
I love coleslaw.
It's not Sally Sherman coleslaw anymore. Now it's like the coleslaw from this guy, it's the pickles from that guy, the herring from this guy, right? It's like the whole. Yeah.
I saw a great billboard the other day. You guys are business guys, so you'd love this. It was an advertisement for mayo, for mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And it was a billboard that said, cabbage without mayo, coleslaw without mayo is just cabbage. And I was like, that's so good. And then and it just like was an ad for mayo. And I'm like, that's amazing.
You ever
But
see
that's crazy that mayo even needs
How
to
do you
still
advertise
market.
mayo? Like what do they advertise ketchup? How do they do ads for ketchup?
Yeah, but they're like a universal staple, like mayonnaise and Heinz ketchup. Like, they don't need to, and they
guys,
still
you
do
know-
marketing.
you
They
know
still do
there's
it.
Millions of dollars spent a year advertising for milk. I mean, this is like,
Got Milk Got Milk has to be one of the best marketing campaigns ever. You know? Got Milk.
I haven't seen it lately though.
The
I
milk
don't think
mustache thing. That's probably that should be analyzed.
that's top 10 of all time. It's a classic.
be. It's
It's a
gotta be.
the
classic.
mayo, you can say Happy Cinco de Mayo to people and put a bottle of mayo in the sink.
Okay, that's a
Wow, you
little
must be in
cheesy.
your 40s.
I'll let you youngsters take over from here.
Exactly.
So I started out at a young age. I was in Yeshiva Rockaway for high school. I mean, I grew up in the Five Towns. My father owns a newspaper, so media is like in the blood.
Oh, what kind of newspaper?
Five Towns, Jewish Times. Like,
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Nice.
So, a lot of media, a lot of just, I guess I never thought that was a weird job that he had. And it was always like press, right? So it was always hot stuff happening. I'm like, oh, this is normal. And I don't think it is. I think most parents are like insurance brokers or like sell real estate.
Yeah. Or leasing cars.
Yeah, leasing cars. But at a young age, I think in high school, I felt at some point, I'm wasting time. I think I was mature for my age. And I think maybe I halted at some point in my maturity. So now I'm like I was stuck, but when I was, remember in 15, 16 in high school, I'm like, there's no way I'm doing the whole high school. Like I'm not doing 4 years of this. Everyone else is like running around having a great time. I'm just like, I just want to move on and start a career. And so I remember I had a tutor, and I remember I called her at the end of 10th grade, and I said, how about we finish everything in 11th and I don't do 12th? And I'm the youngest in my family. The youngest is 6. My parents are like, they had no idea where I was half the time. They were in Israel, Florida. They were traveling the world. I was like, my parents are like, Baruch Hashem, they're like 72 now. So I'm like really the youngest, Ben Zakunum, So I'm like, I'm just going to finish it all 11th grade. And that's what I did. Not a good student, really good tutor. Shout out Mrs. Katz. Really,
She let you do it.
She's like, let's do it. And
You got permission from the school? You got
school didn't care.
GED, diploma? What did you
I got my regions diploma. I got everything. Yeah, I took like 5 regions.
I didn't know you could do that.
I took my ACT. I took the ACT. I took English region. I took Hebrew region. I took my science. Earth
Don't
science.
listen, children. Finish high school.
No, I'd say high school. Like most people should finish high school because you'll have a great time in 12th grade.
Michael, did you finish high school?
I did not.
Neither did I.
Oh, you didn't? Really?
I didn't either.
You guys
I
dropped
don't have
out?
a diploma. I don't have a
Nice.
GED.
Look
Nothing.
at that.
I was sent to Israel when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
I spent my teenage years in Israel. That's where.
Look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What should we take away from this? Don't go to high school? Is that what we're telling
Not at
people?
all.
No. I think what you should take away from it is, as a parent, if your child has a idea of a unique way of accomplishing, like, buy into it.
Yeah, there are different paths.
Exactly.
There isn't just one conformity. You can do different things.
Like there are valedictorians from when I was in high school that literally, like, I'm not gonna obviously not say their names. I don't even remember who they are, but I just know like they peaked.
Right.
And like as a
They're on
parent,
the decline.
yeah, like as a parent, like don't worry if your kid's not doing well in high school.
Yeah.
Chances are he'll do well in life.
It's true. If you look at the pattern, you can really see like the kids growing up that were somewhat of the nerds, I put that in air quotations, but they're very successful today, and the ones that were very cool, they were very sporty and athletic.
Yeah.
They're not doing so hot all the time. Like, it doesn't translate.
They're still going to their high school's basketball games.
Right, they're
At
still
38 years old.
Right, they're still honing in on that. But it's not a testament to what's to come. But
For sure.
you never really know. So there's always different paths that people can take, and the jury's out. We'll
What
see.
did you do then?
I skipped 12th grade. I went to a yeshiva for like half the day, or a Blinder of a Weimager. It was like a place in the Five Towns, and I started schooling. I started college. I had this dream of being a sports agent. Like that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, me too.
I remember watching this documentary on ESPN, 30 for 30. It's called like The Dotted Line. It was following this NFL agent. I'm like, I want to do that. And I guess I was like, I'm very headstrong, so I decided like I want to do that. I'm doing it, and I remember I went on LinkedIn and I started messaging every single sports agency that was anywhere in the world and say, hey, I want to intern. I got a couple of opportunities just watching film and trying to just like write stuff about certain players and whatnot.
Wow.
And then that started happening. My whole goal was get a degree, because in order to get your MBA players agent certification, you need to have a degree. So long story short, I went to college, as any good from Jew, I got my degree in 2 years somehow, got all the credits, got a bachelor's in who knows what.
Arts.
Yeah, like
science. I don't know.
bachelor's in putting stickers on a wall. Like, who knows, I did that. I then, I was interning for an agency, and then I went to a different one, and I was getting my feet wet. I was learning the industry, which is a crazy industry, and I became a certified MBA agent.
Stop it.
Yeah, I went to their meetings. I think the youngest one. I was 19, or I was 20, maybe 20.
Good
So
for
you worked for an agency, like you got a job.
So a couple of stops along the way of like doing sort of like medial work. I worked with this guy from the city who had a sports agency, and he represented some, mostly overseas guys, guys in the overseas guys, G League. I signed my first client with him. This guy he played for Xavier University, Big East.
What a feeling.
I remember driving home one night, and I remember It was decision day whether he was going to sign with us. His name was James Farr. He was 6'10", 270 pounds, big guy. And I'm like, this guy's good. Like, NBA needs big guys. So I was a whole year. By the way, to sign a guy, you need to be with them all year, in their ear, at their games, talking to their parents, talking to their friends.
What's that Adam Sandler movie where he was a
yeah, that was a good movie. Adam Sandler. It's called
one of his only serious movies.
Literally,
it was Uncut Gems.
And even then,
he
was
was
still.
Did you know about this movie?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was
that's the life he
HBO.
led. He had to be with him every day of the year.
Come on, Steph. Come on,
we'll find it.
Something. I don't know what it was.
But anyways, yeah. So what an experience to be through that. process.
Yeah. It was great. And I think and after that,
The movie was Hustle.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. But like I was watching Jerry Maguire, and like that's like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. I was a huge sports guy. I love sports, and I told myself, I don't want to be that guy in shul on Friday night that's just like hawking about sports with no. I want to be making money from these guys.
Smart.
Like I want to talk about these players, but actually being.
You want to be in the game. You want to be relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in the game, and so that's why I pursued it. And I mean, it was great. I think at the peak, I worked for this law firm that represented athletes as an agent. I was an agent there, and the agency had NBA players. Like they represented Robert Covington at some point.
Nice.
They represented a guy, Eric Moreland, who played on the Cavaliers, played on the Kings. Represented a guy on the Wizards. I forgot his last name. One of these 3-point shooters. So my role there was pretty cool. Like we were recruiting guys from college and then preparing. I was like in charge of scheduling all their NBA workouts. So like I'm like talking to the Warriors, the Knicks, the Nets. At any given moment, I'm answering these teams and trying to like. And then we had a guy, Damian Dotson, who was
I remember him.
coming out of Houston, and he was our client.
He played on the Knicks.
And he got drafted by the Knicks. And that was like the peak. I was at the draft with him and his family and my boss, and sitting there, and it was like it's this thing that was so cool. Like it was like literally the coolest thing ever. Like I see my boss get a phone call from the Knicks, and like the Knicks are on the clock. I'm like, holy cow! Like
wow,
he's going to the Knicks. I live in New York. This is a dream come true. And he got drafted by the Knicks, and me and Damian spent some time together. I was by his games a lot. I drove down to Philly to Sixers games. Pick him up from the airport sometimes. And, I went to a Warriors Knicks game with Durant, Curry, and Damian got some playing time. It was a lot of fun. It was great. It was a great industry. It's cutthroat. Like you'll be down there in the garden and you're with your client, and then Leon Rose walks in, who at the time was the president of CAA. He wasn't the president of the Knicks. And like, oh, awesome. Like CAA is going to steal all our clients, because
You're
he's
a big agency.
Yeah, they're like the biggest, and that's Leon Rose. Leon Rose used to represent LeBron before LeBron hired his friend, Rich Paul. So I think at some point in this whole thing, I started something called Meaningful Minute. I was like, I started editing these small little clips because I didn't have a long attention span. I think I was driving to Brooklyn. I was driving to Borough Park 3 nights a week. I was taking an EMT course. I don't know why.
What?
Yeah.
So during this time that you're exploring the sporting world and
I'm in
being
the
an
sports
agent,
world, and I'm also taking an EMT course.
Did you want to be an Atzala?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't deal with blood, and I don't know.
Yeah, what was
I don't
happening
know.
there?
I don't know. I think a friend said, "Why don't you take an EMT
Good
course?"
to know.
And I'm like, all right. No, I don't know. It was crazy. I remember because at the end of the course, I had to do a rotation with 911. I had to be in the senior care ambulance. I'm like, are you kidding me?
wow.
I'm in this thing for 12 hours. And it was so scary. And I lapsed, by the way. I passed, and it's been 4 years since I didn't refresh. And every once in a while, like, maybe I should do it again. And I'm like, no.
So you actually got your certification.
Yeah.
You became a paramedic.
I became an EMT. I became an EMT and not paramedic. I became an EMT. And what was happening is during those car rides, there wasn't a lot of podcasts then. 5 towns of Borough Park every night, back and forth for 3 nights a week for 5 months. A lot of driving. So what am I listening to? I was listening to like Shirim. And I'm like, okay, this guy spoke for an hour and 20 minutes and he said like 4 great things. No one's going to hear that because he spoke for an hour and 20 minutes.
Right.
So remember I whipped out my laptop once. I'm like, let me just like cut one clip. And I cut a clip, and then I cut another clip. And then like, I started like sending it out to a few people. And then long story short, I was on an Instagram live with my brother when Instagram just rolled out this live feature, and we're schmoozing, and someone's like, oh, you guys should do this every night for 5 minutes. Like, just say some Torah. And I'm like, who wants to hear us for 5 minutes? But maybe hear your favorite speakers. And Instagram has like this limit on videos. You can only post like 60 seconds. I'm like, let's do 60 seconds. Like it should be a minute every single day. And someone in the comments were like, yeah, like meaningful minute. I'm like, yeah.
So that's where it started. That's where Meaningful Minute came from.
March 15th, 2017.
Wow.
My brother's living room.
That's like 8 years ago.
Something like that, yeah. On an Instagram Live, I then remember I take out my phone, I made a cheesy looking logo on Canva, like really ugly. But I'm like, if I don't do it now, it's not going to happen. I started like an Instagram page, a WhatsApp group, and that started. I remember, fast forward a couple of weeks at that point, I woke up and I started sending out these clips and like, sign up, guys. First it was family, friends, and it was people I didn't know. And then I remember like, and I was like, dude, I was like living in my parents' house. I was a kid. I was, what is this? You said it's 8 years ago. I was 21, 20. I was home. I'm like, my phone one night was buzzing at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. I was like, what is going on? Did someone die or something? I pick up my phone, and it was like this guy from England who messaged me. And like at this point, I'm like, who? England? I just live in Lawrence. No, the world doesn't exist past Lawrence and Brooklyn, you know? So the guy from England's like, yeah, your group filled up. So I started another one, and that filled up. So I started another one. So now I have like 3 full groups of people who want to receive this video.
Is this WhatsApp groups?
Yeah.
Oh, that's when they had a limitation of 256 people, right? Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay. So then like this thing started like developing. Long story short, like boom. Like I remember I was by the Aguda convention a year later, and we had like 13,000 subscribers, and I was like on there like a Good Alive thingy. And I was like this little kid, like, yeah, I started a WhatsApp thing, you know, like. And
well, I don't understand. So all of this really sounds like it's happening organically. Like you're not marketing this.
No, it was total hobby.
A ton of effort into this.
No, it was
and
a hobby.
Things are just happening, and all of a sudden you wake up one day, months later, you have 13,000 followers.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It was just spreading. I think that it was almost the first of its kind. Like short form Torah content wasn't a thing then.
Right. It was a new concept.
It didn't happen.
It was a hot ticket.
It was just long. Either watch a full share or you watch sports,
right,
and nothing else. So that's where you know that took off, and I would say it started becoming very, very serious.
So right now it's just you and your brother.
It was really me. My brother was working a different full-time job. It was just me at that point.
So you were the one that was doing most of the work?
I was doing everything. I was editing the videos. I was running the clones. I was everything.
And you had the name already, Meaningful Minute at that point?
Yeah, I remember I was driving at one point, and I was with my family, and someone called me and said, hey, can I sponsor? Can I like donate like to Meaningful Minute? I'm like, yeah, can I call you back tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I'm like, I should make a bank account, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I should probably a nonprofit also, maybe. He's like, yeah. I called him an accountant, made a bank account, boom, 501c3.
That's when it really becomes real.
Yeah, when you have to file paperwork with your IRS and all that stuff, and you get a letter with the IRS, like that's when it becomes real. And then
they don't teach you that in high school.
That's what they should teach you.
They 100%.
Don't teach me geometry.
Yeah, teach me life stuff.
Teach me how to write a proper email. Teach me how to construct
open
a
bank
email.
account
or taxes,
things like that,
or taxes, or taxes.
Sure.
You know, like that's a good thing to know about.
Yeah,
like
not at a high level, but at a very basic level.
Very basic. Like, no, you should not spend every single dollar that comes in because you don't have every dollar that comes in. You know, like.
Yeah. My friends used to make fun of me when I was at Medline. I had a pretty straightforward tax return during that time. It wasn't so complicated. So I used to go to H&R.
Yeah.
You know, they advertise all over the place. So like even now, like my friends, every time an ad comes up, oh, shit, yeah, you're one of their customers.
That's
you
awesome. Yeah.
By the way, they're great for people that don't have anything.
Is this a paid ad? Is this a paid ad? Because like,
no, not at all.
Oh wow,
we don't have any of that. What happened to that person that made that comment of the name? Did you ever find them?
Yeah. No, I did.
Really?
I did. And she knows. I've mentioned her many times. I think I mentioned her in the Ami article also. Like
Did you get anything? Did you send her something?
What'd she get?
Thank you.
Of course. Big thank you to her. It was funny. We were like throwing out different names, like spiritual this is that, and then we were like in Hebrew names this that, and she just like Meaningful Minute. And it's crazy. Like she's a big part of it. Yeah. She literally just set out this name that now is a household name. It's pretty crazy to think of.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, at some point I got married at 23. Meaningful Minute was Baruch Hashem big.
So at that time, before you got married, you were already starting to become known. And were you doing the podcast at that point?
Not yet. But there was
like
out the clips. It was familiarity and like in my life at that point, I owned a sports league in the 5 towns, which was really doing great, and it was a single guy. It was great money.
Like you were the commissioner.
Yeah, I owned me and a friend started
like Greenbaum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or Ezzy Katz. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Shout out to the father-in-law.
He's your father-in-law?
Yeah,
Stop
dude.
it.
I don't know how you don't know that.
I had no idea.
How do you not know that?
I don't know. How would I know that?
You were
Actually, I can't believe it. I
Did you know that?
I did not know.
But you don't play in the league.
No,
You
I
play in
don't-
the league.
But why would
You
I
played the
connect
game
that?
together.
Well, unless somebody says something, how would I know?
Did he
Why-
come
why
to
do you-
cheer you on?
Yeah, he was buying my game.
Just by seeing you two of you interact, I wouldn't know that your father's son-in-law. You could be anybody, and he's the commissioner of the league. And you're talking.
That's
Why
funny.
would I know that?
That's very funny.
I actually just saw Ezzy Katz, by the way. I just saw him yesterday.
Yeah.
2 days ago. Sorry, on Sunday I saw him, and he was eating dinner. He was there with his
Where?
wife and friends at a new restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Called Mojo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's in Teaneck. Yeah.
Oh,
It's where
okay.
Nobo's used to be.
Well, thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah.
So, who else
I
were-
miss
were-
Nobo, by
Were
the
they
way.
were they with any of my brother-in-laws or sister-in-laws?
I don't know. I honestly I was being very respectful. I went to my side. I was there with friends, so I didn't want to, like disturb. By the way, that's very annoying. Like when you go out and somebody comes over to you and you have to give them attention and
Yeah. They
hover over you.
I don't want to be bothered right now, and I don't want to bother you. Don't bother me. I'll,
Saying Stom, anybody, yeah.
right. Just because you know each other doesn't mean you have to approach
Happens
each
to
other.
be, I was on a date with my wife. This is probably the best thing ever happened. I was on my, I think, 5th, 6th date. It was getting somewhat serious, and we were in Fireside, and someone came over to us and said, "Are you Nachi Gordon?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I love the work you do. You changed my life." And I'm on a date, and I'm like, hand this guy $100. Like, thank you, bro.
Yeah, that's very well done, by the way.
I know. I was
That
like,
almost looks scripted.
it looks too scripted.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was really cool. It was
Do
really
you get
cool.
that a lot?
Yeah, and it's nice. It's very nice. People are very nice.
I'm sure it can be overwhelming. I mean, let's.
Does
be
it
honest.
happen
Yeah.
to you all the time? Does it happen to you on a daily basis? Like if you're going out in the streets, in the supermarket, or wherever you're going, people are stopping you and say, "Hey, you Nachi Gordon? Can I take a picture?"
Yeah, what do you think?
I think so. I had that happen to me once.
Right.
I had it
That's
once.
why he brought it up.
That's pushing the dream right now.
I had
He's
one
living
story
it. Like,
now.
my God.
I need to know, how do I deal with this fame? I need you to prepare me for
You
this.
should be grateful.
No,
I mean,
but I got to tell you, it's a little awkward. I was caught by surprise because
Yeah.
I don't consider myself to be someone that's well known. I don't know, maybe my inner circle, but that's about it. But I went to somebody's Vard, a random place, and I was jumping in and out. And so the guy stopped me, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Are you Oshi from the podcast?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm a big fan. I watched all your
That's
episodes.
awesome.
Can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I guess." And I was
Yeah.
like, I know what was happening,
yeah.
But in a way, it must be nice. It must feel good that people want to be around you, and they're. But it must also be very annoying at some point.
I would say it's more annoying for family, my wife, kids.
Right.
That's like, I remember I was in Palisades Mall and this whole group of people came over to me and I have a 3-year-old freaking out, and my wife's like, "You gotta go."
Yeah.
And I'm talking to people for 8 minutes and it's very nice. I think I will never say anything bad about it. Is it overwhelming? Yeah. Does it create a certain social anxiety for me? Yeah, but that's a me problem.
Right.
That's not a.
Because you were saying you don't even like to be part of big groups.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not the loudest person in the
People
room.
don't know that I live in the Muncie area. People still think I live in 510. I don't really go many
So you're more of
places.
a private person.
Yeah, no, I'm very private.
You don't just share who you are, what's going on in your life with the world.
No, me and my wife are we're very. You'll never see my wife, my kids on my platform, anything. To the point people read me shidduchim. They don't know I'm married, which is funny. It's and my wife thinks it's hilarious.
Sorry, ladies.
I have 2 kids. Of course. But it happened. It started happening when I was younger. It was really funny. I was single. I was like, okay, this is interesting. After the podcast started, it really got a lot, and now it's
So when did the podcast start? When did that next phase happen?
This podcast started probably a couple years after Meaningful Minute. Let's say 2020. I think beginning of COVID, podcast started. I just felt like, I was listening to a lot of Guy Raz, NPR, How I Built This, some Joe Rogan. I'm like, podcasts are cool. There's not really any in the frum world. I think there was maybe one. And I'm like, this is cool. I remember I made a few Meaningful Minute events. I've had Rabbi Ywa Jacobson, Charlie Harari, and we filled up a room with 1,000 people. And I found that people were just waiting online for 20 minutes to say 2 words to them. How awesome would it be if people could know more about them?
Right.
And Rabbi Ywa Jacobson is not necessarily always the person you see on that podium. He also, I interviewed him recently for the second time. He has anxiety. He was pulling his hair out as a kid from his head because he has, and
He's a real person.
These are real people.
He struggles like we do.
Exactly. And I saw that because I was working closely with a lot of these rabbis, because I was ultimately the biggest marketing tool for them, like getting their classes and their speeches out to tens of thousands
It's a
of people.
win-win. Like, I feel like everybody's benefiting from this.
For sure. And so I had this real desire to like get people to know them more, like completely just remove that gap of like, oh, that guy is so untouchable. No,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
he's
what Trump did on Joe Rogan. He humanized himself. He
exactly.
went there and he mingled with the people.
for 3 hours.
He hung out with us for 3 hours. We got to see a whole
Exactly.
different side of him.
Yeah.
And people feel connected to that person. I think that's what podcasts really does. That's
It tears
main
down.
purpose
Yeah,
of
It's
it.
almost like what someone's doing today.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing. I'm loving this.
Yeah,
by the
like,
way.
who is this real Nachi Gordon?
One of the things
You know?
that I'm thinking about is that a meaningful minute probably takes you hours to put together. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
when
people
I
don't
was-
appreciate
yeah.
that. Like, tell me about that.
I used to make all of them.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, I edited and I did every single one of them. And I'll tell you, there are times where it took me 3-4 hours to make 1 minute
Wow.
because I was like, no. What is the ROI on a 60-second clip? It can't be 10 seconds. It's got to be 45 plus seconds of fire. The guy's giving over a message that could turn a cat into a lion. You know, it's got to be something that is going to send you for the day. That's going to be like, okay, this is good.
And this is before CapCut.
This is before CapCut. I'm like learning, I think it was iMovie or Final Cut. I was like, I had a laptop and I just started like, that was like the expenses of the organization at the time. It was a phone and a laptop, you know? Thank God now we're over $1 million budget a year. So it's like, it will get there, but it's grown an insane amount and we're in the coolest position ever, what we're able to do. So yeah, it took forever. Sometimes I
What
remember
was
I was,
that first
Yeah,
moment?
so it's COVID time. You're starting
you
a
started
podcast.
a podcast.
So who's your first guest?
Who was
How
your
do you
first
even
guest? I'm
like?
curious
of
about
8-tone
that.
finer.
Oh,
And like,
superhuman.
it didn't,
Yeah.
it didn't get better. It didn't get better. The
Why
just-
did he agree to do it? Like you
I don't know.
you didn't have a name yet at that point.
But he, you know, like he knew my father.
Okay, so he
and
knew
like
you.
there is some
Okay.
community familiarity.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the funny part. I've made events in the White Shul and Rabbi Feiner had introduced, so I had a rapport with him. We had a relationship. I brought Rabbi Jacobson to the White Shul, and it was very good for the White Shul. And
What's this white shul? What do you mean
it's
white?
a shul. It's a
called the
shul.
White
It's called the White
Shul?
Shul. It's not even white. I don't get it.
How did they get
It's
it?
in Ferrari. It's a really nice shul.
I don't know why it's
Okay.
called the
Is
White
there a
Shul.
black shul somewhere down the street? Like competition, like a
Maybe
white
a
black
few
shul?
blocks further down. I don't know.
Red shul. Yeah.
Like a red
They have red
shul,
shul.
like-
They have red
They
shul.
have a
yeah.
red shul.
They
I
go
don't
to
know.
red shul?
I don't, because red shul used to talk to me like in a red house.
Right. I don't know.
White
what
shul
came
must
from.
have been also in a white shul.
Okay,
I don't know.
interesting. I never heard
I
that.
think the 5 tens also has a W.
W, it does have W, because that's because it's on Wedgwood. It's the block, not because of the Waldorf Astoria, although some of the guys there think it's the Waldorf Astoria.
they like to think.
Yeah, I used to dive in there. It's the block away from my house. But that was good times, good people.
So did the rabbi know you even?
So
at that
he,
point?
Rabbi Feiner knew me,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure he thought he was coming to the studio to record like a minute.
He wasn't even prepared for what was coming.
And all of a sudden, I sit down and start asking questions about his life, and he has a life. Like he has one child, which they struggled for years to have that one child.
Wow.
And that child was born for the first hour was a perfect baby, and then something went wrong, and that baby turned into now, which is probably a 15, 16-year-old boy who is, I don't think nonverbal, wheelchair, bound, a special needs child.
And that's their only child.
That's their only child.
Wow.
And I think they were living in Israel even at the time, and they moved here, and it's just quite a story. A Rav being so vulnerable, talking about his challenges.
So he talked about that. He talked about his experience.
Opened up. I think that was like the success of everything that, like Meaningful People was just like,
Wow.
the first guest set the framework of like, this is a thing where people are gonna be vulnerable and open up and not try to like,
You want to inspire others.
Yeah.
When you're vulnerable, it opens up other people's hearts.
Yeah.
And they realize, it gives people hope. It gives people.
I think one of the things he said is like, as a rabbi, as a Rav, a big Rav who deals with a lot of the shilas in the 5 towns, a lot of the stuff that comes in, dealing with a lot of the, marital stuff, and it's just, stuff that come up. I remember him saying that he cries himself to sleep many nights, just based on the things he has to deal
what's
with.
going on in the community. and the
That's
things
like,
that people deal with.
or talk about, wow, someone being human, like, that's crazy.
Right.
So
right.
so that was an amazing episode. That went
How
right
many
away.
views did it get, that episode?
I don't know, Steph.
How many views were you getting early on? Were people noticing from the beginning?
I think it was relatively a lot. I mean, it was more than zero. It was probably a few thousand. I'd say audio, I'm trying to remember, audio was getting maybe like a few thousand, 3,000-4,000 an episode. YouTube, maybe like 6,000-7,000. It was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Like, this
Wow.
is really cool. And
Is that when you started noticing that, okay, I'm onto something here?
yeah, I think, I mean, the goal was just keep doing it. and check it out in a year and see if this is good or not. I think that, you know, it kept going and built something pretty special.
Yeah, very special.
Yeah.
You're by far, I want to say, the largest podcast, Jewish, Orthodox, religious podcast in the country. I don't think there's anybody that has a bigger platform than you do right now. I don't think so.
I mean, you have an amazing reach.
God willing, you guys.
What's, your reach is what's amazing. It's not just one direction. It's
more than I even know. And honestly, that's the thing I turn to the most and pride myself the most on. You know, like in the beginning stages of Meaningful Minute, I had gotten calls from different bigger organizations that wanted to kind of like swallow it up. Like, become one of ours.
Yep.
You know, come here. We have candy. You know, and I'm just, and something in me is like, that's where we lose it all. Like,
you're talking about larger Jewish organizations, like an Aguda type? Like,
like the type.
Like those type. I'm not naming anybody, but I'm saying,
right. Yeah,
do a podcast for us and you'll be the host.
Like,
we'll pay for your expenses.
Even before the podcast, Meaningful Minute, like do it under hour.
Wow.
You know, we'll fund it.
You were probably enticed a little bit.
I was like, hey, that's really cool, but also no. You know, like,
good for you.
I was not yeshivish. I was not modern, probably considered mainstream, but like I wanted to cater to the world, to the Jewish world, to everybody, to the modern person, to the Baal Tshuva, to the guy in Lakewood learning 3 Siddharim. I wanted to cater to everybody. And I think the coolest thing about Meaningful People and Meaningful Minute in general is that we cater to everybody. Like, we really, you can go into a block in Lakewood and ask them if they know what it is, and they will.
Yep.
And you can go to Teaneck, or you can go to Baltimore, or you can go to like Bal Harbor. You can go to Israel.
I got to be honest with you. I have non-Jewish friends that it's impacted.
That's
and
cool.
I've spoken to them in the past. And the reason is, the common denominator is that it's meaningful.
Right.
And meaningful is a language that everyone speaks.
Right.
So it's like, you know, inspiring. People want to grow. People have that, you know, feeling inside. Like, it doesn't matter where you're coming from.
For sure.
And you know what the real anomaly is, like what really kind of changed the game, is that people are, you know, used to be back in the day, like we were taught from our parents, like something goes wrong, you shove it under the rug, you hide it, you don't let the neighbors know, right? You try to keep everything in-house.
Yeah.
Right now, I think in our society today, it's become more acceptable, where not just acceptable, people are very receptive that there are real problems going on in the world. People have real struggles in the world, and they're sharing it.
Yeah,
they're opening up. They're actually allowing others in, and it's making us all better for it, right? We're all growing from each other. We always say at Prime Source, you know, we're not the experts, but together we are the experts.
Right.
With all the knowledge that we accumulate from everywhere, and we're sharing with each other, we become stronger.
And the
as a
only
unit.
way change happens is if it's discussed. If
Right.
it's grassroots. I think that like maybe post-Holocaust there was just so much going on that the world, I can't blame them. Like they weren't going to be like, okay, well we survived Auschwitz, now let's talk about Shidduchim. Like it just wasn't
Right.
It was like, we're alive, let's live. And they were just, I don't know.
It's a great point.
It is a great point.
Like, you know,
come
you
up
think
with
about
that, like,
no, for real. Like
They had bigger problems to deal
Yeah,
with. They had a lot bigger fish to fry.
for sure. Like, dude,
Right.
like they literally just, if you even take it a step further, the kids of Holocaust survivors grew up, and my mother's she's a daughter of survivors. What do you think they went through? Yeah, like that's crazy. It's crazy. And how far are we removed from that? A couple of generations?
Yeah.
That's it.
Not that far.
That's it.
It's really not that far. So like, how
And
far?
we're seeing snippets of that reoccur today. We're
Yeah.
starting to see a dynamic that existed then that's really reoccurring again today. We're starting to see some of that.
Yeah, it's
Scary.
It is scary. I think that like, God runs the world, but obviously, I hope as a Jewish people we are reacting differently. I think we have a little more chutzpah. I don't know what they had back then.
A little more
honestly.
moxie. Yeah.
A little more like a little more chutzpah, a little more.
Yeah,
we're not going to run and hide. We're not going to hide our Judaism.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
telling you,
Yeah.
how do you deal with the hate? I'm sure there's
Ooh,
hate. out
yeah.
there.
Do you get a lot of hate as
In
well?
the beginning, I got a lot of hate.
Oh, what's there to hate even? Like,
I was.
No, I'm talking about even people that are hating on Jews. I'm talking about people.
that's what you mean.
Yeah, I'm talking about everything.
Okay.
All the hate. People from within your circle. And
I was talking a different kind of hate. by the
Yeah,
way. No,
we could address both. After October 7th, I went to the city. I sat down. I made a table. I brought a film crew, also security, and I had a sign that said, "How does it feel to be Jewish right now?" And it was on October 10th, and we had people sit down. A lot of college, Columbia students, people who were walking over that were taking their yarmulkes out of their jacket pockets and putting it on their head. They took it off, and it was like really, it went viral. It was a few 100,000 views on YouTube. The YouTube shorts from it, like also like millions of views. It was really crazy. But I think that's the first time as a Jew I felt scared. I'm in the city and I have security, armed security.
Right.
I called Richie Taylor to say, hey, can you send me some, can you send me some MYPT2? He's like, I got you. And he did. And for good reason. Free Palestine. You guys are killing baby. Like, people yelling at me because I'm wearing a yarmulke in the city. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. And if someone doesn't go to the city, that someone doesn't have to do these things for their job, they may not know about it and they could play it down like, it's not such a big deal. Like, no, people deal with this. People have taken off their yarmulkes. People have hidden their, like, they hide now, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And
wow, it was very brave of you that you even did that.
I'm crazy.
That's very brave.
I don't think my father was not happy with it. He's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have security. This is what we're gonna do. Listen, when I was in the sports world, I always wore my yarmulke, and I could have gone by Michael. I went by Nachi, and good luck, Damian Dotson, saying the word Nachi.
Right. That's
and
tough.
I wore my yarmulke, and like, this is who I am. You have questions, and it's funny because, like, I remember being after a game in I think the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia by a Sixers game, and Damian's like eating shrimp after the game. He's like, you want some? I'm like, you really don't get it, dude. You really, like,
They're oblivious. They don't understand.
Most of the world is. You grew up in Houston and in some like what do you know? The
By the way, people that we work with, like, for a long time, and they're not Jews, they're like more Jewish than a lot of the people we know. Like, they know a lot more. Like, they're very into it. They're very into it.
It's true, yeah.
I have to tell you, I was in the city, by the way, that week, the week after, and I went to a rally, and I had an Israeli flag, and I was walking to my car on the way back, and I was getting yelled at, and really, like, scary times. I didn't have security. I didn't know Richie at the time.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you something, what I did, and I think it worked, and I'd like to give a tip to anyone who ever
You told us
feels
this on the last podcast.
afraid. Did I say it?
You mentioned it, yeah.
I went live?
Yeah, it was very smart.
Yeah.
What'd you do? You went
I took
live?
out my phone, and I said, we're live right now. And nobody wanted to mess with me.
Really?
We were live. And
I thought you were gonna say just act even crazier.
Yeah.
Like, they go crazy, like, show them a new level of crazy.
Yeah.
No, listen, by the way, I think it's worse now than it was then. Meaning, I think it's worse now. We're in December, a year plus later. It's worse now. The climate
It's spread.
in the city is worse now. If you go to with an Israeli flag now to Manhattan, I think it'd be unfortunately a lot far worse than it was October 10th. I'm down.
Yeah, but you understand why? Because
Bring another table.
people are now
It's
getting
crazy.
even more
It's crazy.
upset that Israel is still in this war and there's still no ceasefire, so they're getting more agitated about it. So now there are more people on that bandwagon.
I don't think it's the reason. I think it's Jew hatred. It's in the mother's milk with some of these people. It's just
coming out
They don't know. They don't know
Right, but they're
about
exposing it more.
They
They're
don't
now-
know. You think these people know what's going on in the news? If you ask them to point out where Israel is on the map, they'd have no idea.
right.
This is not Israel.
And yet they're so invested in
It's
this.
not Israel. These are just tropes, anti-Semitic stuff that have been passed down from generation to generation. This is Asa son of Yaakov. Like,
This is old news, you're saying. This is, yeah.
I have an employee who lives in Amsterdam, Naomi. She's a really big part of our team. A few weeks ago, what happened there? Her and her husband staying indoors because, dude, like, they're lynching people.
Wow.
Why should this this is in Europe in 2024? What is going on here? You know, so use my platform to speak about those things that I also love to do. You know, speak to soldiers, speak to people who are involved in this, and to sort of like show the truth, show who the Jewish people really are. But yeah, the other hate, that's the hate that we all deal with.
Yeah.
The other hate is sort of, I think I got very early on, which is like, who do you think you are?
Mhm.
You're 20-year-old
Right.
kid. You're not Das Torah.
Right.
You're not a Rav.
Ooh.
You don't have a beard.
Mhm.
You guys hear that?
We know all those people. Probably those people after they went with you, they're coming to us now. Probably.
but
exactly.
like, I got that from a young age, and it was a lot to deal with. I remember I said this over. I got hired by a Pesach hotel last year, and I said this over on a panel, and it was a Shabbos. I don't think I ever said this on a podcast. I don't think, maybe, I don't know, but I was in Camp Monk for 15 summers. I was head waiter there. I literally got engaged. I got engaged in August. I was in Monk that summer. I was dating my wife from camp.
Wow.
You know, I was
That's
like
a long time.
Yeah, I was like, I love camp. It was amazing. I was head waiter. I was
Camp
counselor.
Monk has a great reputation.
I know they hold on to you,
Yeah,
but it was a great place. And Meaningful when that started, it was functioning from there. I had a computer up in one of the buildings. Sorry, Roy Monk. I don't know if you knew that, but I had bought my own Wi-Fi. And I got a letter to Camp Monk from Shiner Shul was the address, which I learned later, which obviously was meaningless because Louis Shiner did not send me this letter, right? Louis, right? It wasn't him. It was someone using it as a front, because this letter was 4 pages. I remember going to the office because I never got a letter. I thought, hey, Mom, you wrote me a letter? Nope, she didn't.
Was it handwritten, this letter?
It was typed.
It was typed, okay.
It was typed. It was 4 pages. And if I could tell you, if you ever watch a roast, this was 10 times worse than any roast.
Oh my God.
It was, and I know this person. This person didn't know me, but it was along the lines of like, who do you think you are? You're never gonna get married. You're something bad is gonna happen for you to wake up to think that you have a voice in this Jewish world. You're not das Torah. You're pompous. Like, I'm just like,
Wow.
reading this letter, and I was white as a ghost. And Mrs. Monk was in the office. She's like, what happened? I'm like, look at this. I just handed her the papers, and she read it, and she's like, can you give me a bracha? I'm like, because you just got ripped to pieces, and you're embarrassed now. Give me a bracha. Give me a bracha for my, like, I said, my daughter should get married. I said, your daughter should get married. Your daughter got married the next day. No, I'm kidding. No, but her daughter got married. Her daughter got married.
You could have said it in a month, but I would have believed
I know.
you.
But I was like, holy cow. I remember showing it I sent it to my Rebbe, and he's like, welcome to the big leagues.
Exactly.
Now you know that
you made it.
Now you know you're doing something right.
You have a target on your back.
Now you know you're doing something right.
I hope you have that on your wall somewhere, by the way.
I had it in my knapsack. You know, like everyone, like you get married, you go in laws, you have that one knapsack. So I had it in my knapsack. I wonder if it's still there. I carried it with me everywhere, which is probably not healthy, but I carried it with me everywhere. And I had this feeling of like, oh man, I'm going to prove you wrong. You have no idea who you mess with. You have no idea the fire you lit. And you should know, I had a great rebellion in life. Mostly. 10%. No, I had a great rebellion. But high school, the way it is, and school in general, it's not made for the kids outside the box a little bit. It's just any system. A system is a system. Yeah. And if you fit into, you have 30 kids in a class. I would say a lot of the teachers rebellion did not get me. They're like, what are you doing? You know? And it could be I heard some things along the way that were very like, dude, if you don't do this, what are you gonna? You're not gonna be much. And
well, I'm happy that you didn't toe the line.
It lit
because this wouldn't have all developed, right?
Yeah,
everything
it lit
that
a
happened,
fire.
the outcome is phenomenal.
Yeah, it lit a fire. I'd say it lit a fire.
When I walked him into the office today, I introduced him to one of our employees here, our director of operations, and she follows his podcast religiously. She watched every episode. You should have seen her eyes light up when he walked into the room. Like, why is it light? Not because, like, you know, he's a big sports player. He knows how to dunk a basketball. Because he inspires her. He actually makes a difference in her life, that he makes her feel better about herself. And the things that he puts out there, the content that he puts out there, gives her hope. It gives her meaning, right? And you're doing this for thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, potentially, that you're doing this for. It's a huge responsibility, but I think you're doing it well. You should be very, very proud of yourself. And I will say this, Michael, we have a daunting task ahead of us because we are not inspirational people. Like, you know, like people would ask us, who do you think you are? You're a rabbi? Why do you think you have a voice? We probably don't have that kind of voice. Like, I see our podcast being somewhat more of entertainment more than anything, you know, and try to weigh in on current events.
Well, kosher entertainment.
Exactly, right. We don't want to get, you know,
which is important.
Not dirty. We don't want to be
PG-13.
PG-13.
Listen, I don't think that. I think this changed
Would you
over
talk
the
about
years.
movies or TV shows on your podcast?
Make a reference, but I wouldn't like talk about.
Right. We would talk about that here. We would talk about an actor in Hollywood, something that's going on.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough question.
You don't know?
Favorite movie of all time?
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs.
By the way, if you Google top 10 movies of all time, pretty much every single, like, you know, reputable source will give you the same movie list. So I'm gonna go with one of those, like, to be safe, like, you know, Shawshank Redemption. You know.
Bingo, that was mine. That's mine.
But that's a very safe
That's the
answer.
craziest thing.
Right.
They showed that on a bus. I don't know, I can say who, but like we were in camp one summer and we were going to Niagara. And like I think there's one counselor wanted to be rebellious, and instead of Agent MS, he put in Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh, nice. He was a celebrity.
And we were like,
he's a hero.
What is this? is that Morgan Freeman? Like, we're in camp. You know?
Yeah.
You know, when you're in camp, you're in a bubble. Like nothing exists outside of it.
Nachi, I'm a little bit older than you, but I went to Camp Monk, and I remember.
Oh, you did, yeah.
And I remember first rain day I was ever in camp. They showed Star Wars.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? That's come a long way from there.
That's
very cool.
The first one was Shawshank on the bus. That broke open a hole.
That's wild. That's wild.
What's your favorite movie? I said a very safe one. I'm going to change my
Favorite
answer.
movie?
Actually, I want to change it to The Godfather. Godfather 1 and 2, not 3. Not 3.
I do want to teach you guys something that I've learned recently.
Yeah.
When anyone asks me, what's your favorite of anything? I respond, in what scenario? Where
Well,
am I?
I respond generally today. Like, what's my favorite?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like,
I have a different favorite.
exactly.
Every season.
My favorite restaurant when I'm, going out for dinner in Israel is one thing. When I'm in
You're
New
both
York.
overcomplicating this. This is becoming very. I regret asking this
I
question.
said
already.
Reservoir Dogs because that's my all-time favorite. But
But
I
the
have
funny
so
thing
many
is,
favorite movies.
I never watched.
You never watched it.
Godfather.
It's a
never
different,
watched. I never watched The
generation.
Godfather. I never watched Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
I
don't think you'd enjoy
I'm
it.
a big, I'm a media junkie, right? I love media. I love film, right? I love I love cinema, like what you're able to accomplish with movies, and I overthink it. Like, I'm not like, oh, Transformers, sci-fi. I couldn't care less about those things. I think you show me stuff like Defiance about the Belsky brothers.
Great movie.
Phenomenal.
Great movie.
About these brothers who
3 brothers. Yeah.
who literally saved Jewish lives during the war.
Yeah. Daniel Craig. I think.
Yeah,
was in that movie.
like,
he was
yeah.
excellent in it.
Surprise, surprise. You like meaningful movies.
Yeah.
I know, I get it.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
So that's
I
the
like
question.
things.
What's the most meaningful movie
Yeah.
that you have seen that people have to experience? Something like Oscars,
So I'd
like
say if you have a
Schindler's
kid,
List.
I'll say if you have a kid, your kid needs to watch Wonder.
What?
Wonder.
Wonder?
Never heard of it.
Jacob Tremblay, the kid who has a disease. His face is all, what's it called? He has a disease.
I don't remember the name, but Julia Roberts is in that movie.
Julia Roberts is in the movie, but this kid Jacob Tremblay he's probably 5 years old, 6 years old. He's an actor at that time, but it's about this kid who has some facial deformity, and he would wear like an astronaut's mask because kids would
embarrassed.
bully him. It is a must watch for any kid.
Really?
Parents with kids, like it's a movie that will make me think. It's thought provoking, and like those things are. It's a
Like
difference
my
to me.
7-year-old son, I should watch it with.
Oh yeah, like come on,
They
like,
can understand it already. Like
yeah,
it's-
yeah. It just brings home the message about like people have differences,
Right.
and that's fine. Everyone has differences. Some you see, some you don't see.
Right.
Oh man, it's a line in that movie from Julia Roberts. Oh man,
Evan?
he's not gonna. Jamie's on light speed. Stefan's on. You see how he dives in baseball. That's what he's doing.
Listen,
right
I'm
now.
good. I'm not that good. Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
Julia
Oh,
Roberts
man.
is Hollywood royalty. I mean, she's
Is she Jewish?
she may as well be.
May as well be,
Yeah,
Stefan.
She may as well be, but probably not. She looks like.
I want to make those movies. Like next state, next.
Is that in the plan? Is that on the horizon?
Next phase, Meaningful Minute is like production, big production. Like we got to be doing better for Klal Yisrael. Like what are we creating? Like
Yeah, we were a part of a production where we helped fund it, the Mashiach movie with Beryl Solomon. And I have
nice,
to tell
yeah.
you that his feeling that he had just making that movie, I understand what you're saying.
I know, but that movie was more of like a documentary.
Right.
No, I
like
get
a
it. I'm just
movie
saying,
movie.
but it was a
I think
production.
Nachi's talking about like.
Are you talking about making it into like a
feature
scripted
film, like-
movie or like a
what
documentary?
I'm saying is I think something that we don't understand or realize so much is that if you ever watch a movie and someone gets on their knees at the side of their bed and they're praying in Christianity, that is funded by the church, and they're using cinema as a way to get into the homes
Sure.
of millions of people.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have not mastered subliminal messaging, and we need to. We're getting
into a little bit on social media.
Shev
We're
Mitzvah
getting in on
Noach
it.
should be broadcasted to the world subliminally to every single person in the world.
It's a great point, actually.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
why, like the only people that are like Shev Mitzvah or Chabad, like they by mistake, are you Jewish? Oh, you're not. Well, Shev Mitzvah Noach,
It's
right?
funny, they made a movie about Noach, I think, a couple of years ago.
Did they?
Russell, not who's the guy from Gladiator?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I think Russell Crowe.
Yeah?
Russell Crowe played Noach, and it was like a really
It's
cool
like
movie.
Fira,
Right,
most
but
of
there
it,
was
yeah.
nothing mentioned, no Torah, no,
Right, but
you
like
know.
we have, so like we're all from Jews. Like we have the greatest gift in the world. We were born into this. We have an amazing thing, the Torah, and we're just like this with it, like it's ours. But like where my brain goes a lot, and a lot of meetings I have with my donors and I have with people who fund our operation is like, so there's that Jew that lives in Oklahoma that doesn't really know much about his Judaism besides for the fact that he saw his grandmother light candles once on a Shabbos, and that's it. And he may never see that again. And whose fault is that? It's our fault.
So how would you change that? Like, what,
I'd make it known and make it seen in the world. I would create
what's
films,
A step? What's a step? One step.
investing millions of dollars into Jewish films.
Okay.
Like that's the step. Like, is there less money in our circles than there in Christian world?
Well, we just found out last week, yesterday actually, that the church apparently is like the second largest real estate owner in the world. Did you
Okay,
know
we
this?
have Rechmitz.
Do they have that much?
No, I get
That
it.
evens it out.
Yeah.
They have a lot of resources.
Of
They have a
course.
lot of money.
I'm not saying we do what they're doing.
We don't have that kind of money.
But let's do 5% of what
Yeah,
they're doing.
something.
Like you're watching a Super Bowl and there's 5 commercials about Jesus, about hegetsus.org.
Right, an NFL Super Bowl. They have
Right.
like 3 commercials.
Right. Why isn't there a commercial with a mother lighting Shabbos candles and scan the QR code? Know more about your Judaism. That every single Jew in the world, there's 10 million people watching this right now, that they can, oh, you know what? I think I'm Jewish. I'm going to scan this code. Why do we think so small?
He's not wrong.
Thank you.
He's not wrong.
I'm getting chills.
Thank
thinking
you.
about
I
it.
almost feel like we're missing an opportunity. I feel like it's
Dude,
a crime that we're ignoring
we
this.
have, there's a vart that every Pesach I say, my father said it to me, we're Chabad. Like, we have Chabad Yichus. My father grew up in Crown Heights. My great-grandfather was a gabbai in 770. We're Gej, Lubavitch. We go back
Interesting.
to,
I didn't know that either.
Go back to
Okay.
Russia. And my father said by the Seder, he said that the Rebbe says, why do we crack the matzah, right? And we hide the larger half. And when the Seder isn't over until we
You find it.
find the Afikomen.
Yep.
And the Rebbe says that larger half represents majority of Klal Yisrael tonight, Seder night. They are not keeping a Seder. They don't even know tonight's a Seder. They're not keeping any mitzvahs. And our
We gotta go
job
find
here
them.
is not over until we find them.
We got to find them.
We got to find them. What are we doing to find them? It's going to be hard to go on our feet and people are doing it. There are curve organizations, but we have been given the gift of social media, and people make the mistake thinking that God created all these platforms for Joe Rogan and Elon Musk to have fun with. Who says it's not created for us to reach all these Jews in the world? Doing this? Who's to say? Like, we literally, at Meaningful Minute, we were able to post videos and get millions of views on social media. Who's seeing that? Do I know that there's not a Jew? We get messages all the time of people who are not so connected with their Judaism, but they have a spark now. We need to double down on those efforts. Like,
Wow.
we need to really double down on those efforts.
I'm just thinking about that letter.
That's
that
so
you got.
profound.
I'm sorry. I'm like, look
Yeah.
at these ideas that you have. You are just getting started, baby. I'm like,
But who's to say that would happen without that letter? That's important.
you know what?
Yeah.
Look in the camera and tell that person that wrote that letter what you think. Give them a response.
if
Like,
they're
what would you
alive.
say to them?
Honestly, I would say that I am sorry that you were in so much pain that you had to write that letter. That's really what I would say. I mean,
good for you.
Yeah.
'Cause
By the way,
really,
did
good
you hear what
for
he
you.
just said?
Good for you.
He pities him.
Yeah.
That person
Yeah.
must have been very
No, I
bitter
mean, like-
inside that he had to write a letter like that. And that's where it always comes from. The hate comes. It's being fueled
Yeah.
by people that are having a hard time that you're being successful and that you're doing well. And it doesn't sit well with them. And they don't know how to
Yeah.
handle it.
can you imagine to write a letter like that and hit send? To type it and
Put in the mail, lick it.
that envelope. Yeah, and go to a mail. I don't know how to
a
send a
stamp
letter.
on it.
Yeah, you spent 25 cents on me. But like, thanks for the donation. But like,
I love what you said. The idea of saying to the other person is the same thing everyone should say when someone gets to you. I'm sorry for you.
yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, they must be going through so much pain in order to do such a thing. It doesn't make otherwise it makes no sense, right?
Are you very driven mostly by the cause? It sounds like you're really committed to this and that you really genuinely care. But there is money to be made. Like,
Yeah.
did you ever reach any point? What was the first point, rather,
Yeah.
that you reached and you realized, oh, we can start making money from this. We can actually monetize. We can get some capital into the business.
I went to my first meeting ever with a donor. His name was Moshe Majeski.
Good friend, by the way.
Moshe Group. And I remember I went to his house as a young, I don't think I was married. Maybe I was. I was married, and I wanted to basically make a Meaningful Minute app because I felt like this is great. We're gaining tens of thousands of followers on every single platform, but that's just amazing for them because they're getting all their data and we're not getting anything from it besides for being able to reach our content to them. Like, great. We have 300,000 followers on Instagram now, which is amazing, but it's even better for Facebook because they get all that data, right? So now we have our mobile app that has 45,000 users and we have that data. So we have that relationship with those users. So I went to Moshe, I went to his house, and I never fundraised a day in my life. Like, not even like Chai Lifeline. Like, everyone who, never.
You self-funded everything all along the way until this point.
It was very
didn't
minute.
spend a lot of money?
I'll tell you, there was a lot of small money stuff, and we still have that, which is the most amazing thing. We have over 8,000 donors that have given to Meaningful Minute. 8,000 people, $50, $100
Wow.
that have given.
Grassroots.
That's like the thing I'm proud of the most.
Wow.
That I'm not like Michelle, but there's no like 3 people that say, hey, listen, we're funding you.
right.
No, the people, it's like a politician. You need to get a certain amount of donations from people
Right.
in order to continue your campaign. That's the thing I'm proud of the most. The person
that
who
is amazing.
doesn't make a lot of money, but they're like, this is important to me. I want to see it continue. I want to see it
$10,
grow.
$18.
Exactly.
I'm curious what happened by Moshe.
So I went to Moshe and I went to his office, and if you know him, he's just like in the middle of a million different things. And I said to him, I introduced myself, I told him what I'm trying to do. He loved it. And I think I said I need $50,000. And I think he said back to me, so you need 75.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, lesson number one. Thank you.
Love you, Moshe.
Yeah. And he's the most amazing guy in the world. I was sitting in his office and he called his wife in. Rivk, come here, Rivk. We're gonna support this kid's doing. We're gonna give, and I'm like, what is going on here? Did he say yes? I don't even know if he said yes. I have no idea what's happening. It's my first donor reading ever. And I got a email. He's on his phone. I'm like, I got an email, and it was from our credit card thing that Moshe Majeski, $12,000 donation on the spot. I was like, wow. He's like, more of that's coming.
Wow.
And that was our meeting. I was like,
You're kidding.
what just happened?
You got spoiled. You think every meeting goes like this
By
now.
the way, I told Hashem, like, I'm out of my depth. I'm not a trained fundraiser. Like, I'm no Ellie Bear. Like, I don't know how to just walk into a meeting and say, yeah, so we need $12 million. You know, like, that's not my thing, but I have a lot of passion, and I think I'm good at what I do, and I know what I need to do. Like, I have the blueprint from God, obviously. And I told Hashem, just surround me with the right people. Can you imagine my first meeting? First of all, it didn't even, that's not even, I got to Moshe because Joe Eisenberger, we made a meeting from in a book before the podcast, even a book from Art Scroll, right? Gedali Zlotowitz, thank you to him. It's really Besser about just short messages, 200 pages of short messages. And I needed a sponsor for the book. And Yossi Eisenberger said, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, who else can I get involved? He's like, you should go to Moshe Modesky. And he set up the meeting with me and Moshe.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, Mida connected Mida, and Moshe has set me up with other people. So it's like, Hashem really surrounded me with the right people.
Amazing. You know how they say every Jewish person you know is 2 calls away from Donald Trump?
It's amazing. It really
Moshe
is.
is my guy.
By the way, on that note,
If I ever need Donald Trump, I'm calling Moshe.
He's
By
that
the way,
close.
Oh, he's that.
on that note,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this.
We'll decide later if we should edit it.
I get a. Did you just press the mute button? I get a message from Moshe, like a video of Ivanka. Moshe's very close to Jared and Ivanka, and he's close to Trump. And he's like, post this on social media, and make sure it gets views. I'm like, okay, I can't make sure it gets views, but it's a good video. Well, it was Ivanka talking about Lashon Hara, and we posted it, and it's at this point, it's got over 2 million views on.
That's where it
on
came from?
our Instagram and YouTube Shorts. It was, and Moshe told me to post it, and I'm like, and I'm on the phone with Moshe. He's like, let's go. I need 5 million. I'm like, and then all of a sudden I see Amari Stoudemire shared it, Ivanka reposted it from Meaningful Minute, and Daily Mail wrote an article about it. I'm like, am I being used by the Illuminati right now? Like, what is going on? Wow. I'm like, Moshe, did this come from the president? Did someone tell you to do this? Because like, I feel like it was.
It could very well be.
And he's like, don't ask questions, don't ask questions, just do. Anyways, I wake up this morning, I posted on my stats today, Ivanka Trump now follows Meaningful Minute on Instagram.
Yes.
And I had to say out loud a few times, the daughter of the president of the United States follows.
She's not just the daughter of the president. She herself has a lot of influence. She's a powerful person.
On Instagram. I'm like, let me say this, like, whoa, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's like,
good for you.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I'm like hard. It's like hard to register.
So you could see who actually follows you. You're able to see names.
I went to her page and it said, "Do you want to follow her back?" I'm like, okay. I don't follow women, so no. I'm like,
it's great. She followed you in a very discreet way. She didn't like call you to tell, hey, I'm gonna follow. She just followed because she thought she wants to follow you.
Yeah,
really cool.
This is just totally natural. That's what this was.
Really cool. It's really cool. It's like,
and again, this is a further testament to what you're doing. You're doing something right.
Yeah, listen, Hashem's running it's crazy. It's like this whole script is just nuts if you think about it. Like the fact that everything has happened, like, and just to pick up chronologically, like the podcast started taking off, right? Things started blowing up, like big time, bigger guests, bigger names.
Who was your biggest
Ben
guest
Shapiro,
so far?
maybe? Ben Shapiro was
Ben Shapiro was big.
Ben Shapiro was a pretty big guest.
Yes.
Amari Stoudemire was pretty big. And I think I enjoyed Ben Shapiro. Like it was really, really interesting. It just, just to get us to present day, we started another podcast recently, Stories of Hope with Sport Gredko. She's under the network.
She's amazing.
And
We met her.
We're big fans of
We
her.
love her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
so happy that you guys did that partnership.
By the way, we're also happy that it didn't work out with us, because then she wouldn't be doing
she
this
would be
potentially.
working for
Yeah.
us.
And by the way,
literally.
she could have been working for us. And this was like what she was meant to do.
Yeah,
like she was born
She's doing a
for this
phenomenal
role.
job. I tell you, the messages we get, I'm like blown away.
Yeah.
Someone messaged, she gets hundreds of emails per episode that comes out. It's such a sensitive topic, so it's like really, I mean, we got a message from one of the earlier episodes. Someone had given up on dating Jewish men because they were so jaded, and her episode inspired them to start giving it another chance. That they're going to speak to the right shadchanim and have the right people, and they're going to start dating Jews again. How many generations of Jews did we just save?
That's amazing.
How many
You
generations of
saved the
Jews?
world.
Right,
Right? Isn't that what they say? You save the world. Save one Jew, save the world.
How many worlds? Because that Jewish lady could have married a guy, and then that daughter could have married a guy, and then all of a sudden, all those generations of how many kids?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away
But
by
the guy who wrote you the letter wants to know who you think you are.
Yeah.
And how dare you? How dare
Let her
you
know. She'll
step
get a
up?
letter too soon. You know.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what? Like, yeah, like anyone who gets hate with what they do, and it's inevitable if you're doing something good, doing something special, it's like, sport gets it also, by the way. It happens. There are some factions that would be like, why are you talking about love? And I look at these people, I'm like, what do you mean? It's in the Torah.
Right.
What do you think Tubav is?
Yeah.
Like, it's in the Torah, love. We can't become firmer than the Torah. We can't make up halachas that don't exist. Why are we talking about relationships? Why are we talking about love? I don't know. Maybe because 50% of people are getting divorced nowadays. Maybe you want to change something. Maybe you want to actually make an impact.
Right.
Like, maybe because not talking about it didn't do so well.
Right.
Maybe
Our
so-
track record isn't that
Right.
great.
And that's what we're doing a lot of on
Time for
Meaningful
something
People
new.
also, by the way.
So, now, let me ask you, when are we starting to roll in the dough? When is this? When's the money following? Like,
Listen,
you're already at a place where you're in the 1%. Like, in our community, even the extended communities all over the world, all the Jews, nobody has what you have. Like, you're doing something phenomenal. Like, I expect some big paychecks, like a big payday. I want to see you with a driver soon.
No.
You know, in a Rolls, you know, something like.
See, those things will never happen. You know, like, I will invest every single dollar into building this up. You know, I mentioned earlier what our budget is, and it's not private information. It's our 990 is public. We're a nonprofit, so it's public. My dream, my goal, my next thing we're working on is to build out Meaningful Minute Plus, and to have paid subscribers, thousands of them, and to really invest in those in content. Like, I want these rabbis, these speakers who don't get paid really well at all to be doing what they're doing, creating content, like not enough to be doing it more often. I want to bring them onto the network and pay them real money and say, like, let's take this seriously. Like, why is Mr. Beast making more money than you? Why are these Twitch streamers making, like, let's literally, we live in this world. We see, you know, there's Chachma B'Gayim. We're supposed to learn from what they do and how they utilize technology. There's no reason why we can't do it. There's no reason why we can't take some of the top, like, I want to make the Mount Rushmore of Jewish thought leaders and creators and say, let's go to work. Let's create movies. Let's create documentaries. Let's create podcasts. Let's double down. Let's make a 50,000 square foot warehouse where it's going to be a literal content creation machine. Because what's the biggest impact nowadays? It's what people are seeing online. It's what they're seeing on their phone. It's what they're seeing on their computer. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We need to invest in it seriously. So, like,
I love that. I think that's his Rolls Royce.
that's my Rolls Royce.
That's what it sounds like.
yeah.
I'm a little disappointed in the answer.
I love it.
I'm not a car guy.
No, I think that's amazing what you're saying, and like
Yeah.
you're a better person than most. You know that you're doing this
Listen,
really genuinely
yeah.
for real, authentic reasons. I admire
Yeah,
that.
like, of course I want to take care of my family, pay my mortgage, like everyone
a
else.
little bit something for Nachi. You're
But,
putting a
like-
lot of hard work in over here. You have to contend with, you know.
What do you do for fun?
I play sports. I play baseball.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
how
are
we-
on a baseball
that's
team
how we
together.
met.
I think
We won a
that,
championship. We won a
It's time for
championship.
the world to know.
You know, it took a lot of goal, by the way, on my part, and you know, I take chances. I'm a risk taker, and I drafted Nachi.
Ooh, you took a risk with drafting.
That wasn't the risk part. I drafted him onto my baseball team, but then I asked him if he wants to co-sponsor the team together. Meaningful, you know, people and none of business.
Yeah.
I'm like a no-name podcast. He's, you know, you heard today, you know, what he's all about. And,
did it, yeah.
And he very graciously accepted. He didn't,
Thank you for that. I like the name. The
he was very humble about the whole thing. He's even today. I'm like, listen to him talk.
Yeah,
You're
why not?
accomplishing more than most people have done in generations, and you're here, like, you know, and you're just like a regular guy, and you're.
That's the message, by the way. Like regular people. That's who
Right,
happens.
that's what
to.
you're exemplifying.
My whole message is like everyone I sit down with is regular.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know, regular is not the word. Everyone I sit down with is someone who probably got in trouble as a kid, who probably didn't get good grades all the time, who made trouble, who got punished, who maybe suffers from some sort of stress, anxiety, depression. Every single person I sit down with, that's who it is. Like that is the makeup of the Jewish people. That's who we are. Like we love looking at the end game, the success. Oh wow, look at that. Look what this guy's doing. Look at the impact he's making. And when you just see that, you take away the entire ingredients to the recipe.
Wow.
Like no, the stress. I'm not saying bring it upon you. Don't have to bring stress upon yourself. It's natural. It happens.
It does.
But that's not things
It'll
that are going to
find you.
get in your way. You can use those things. Like everyone I've spoken to, like Rabbi Feiner, who dealt with the biggest challenge of a life, to not be able to have kids, to have a kid with special needs, and that's it. Challenge of a lifetime. To interviewing a lady like Malky Jacobs, who was living a amazing, normal, regular life, and then got sick, and then got her arms and legs amputated, and she is giving to others. These are people that used the things, the worst things that were given to them, and they made it into something sweet and beautiful. And everyone listening can do that, whether in business, whether in relationships, in life in general, whether you're young or old, you're going to be punched in the face. Hopefully not literally, but figuratively, you definitely will be. Unless you have like very rich in-laws and I don't know, but then you're getting punched. Then you're getting punched in the gut.
Exactly. That's a whole different kind of punch.
But you see, my in-laws didn't take me to Mojo. But
That's amazing.
you're gonna get punched, and it happens to every single person.
Yeah.
And the person who's unscathed and untouched is not the person who's successful.
You're gaining a tremendous amount of experience and just being around these people. And
It's the best thing ever. Yeah.
I don't know. When I see a lot of your clips, I feel like bad about myself. Like
No, that's not the goal.
I know, but I feel
Leave
like
it up to Oshie.
there are so many amazing people out there in the world. There's so many people that step up and that overcome, they persevere, and they make something out of themselves. It's not like just they get by and they make do. They actually grow. They become bigger and better. And it's very inspiring to see. It really is. It's amazing. I really wish on us, Michael, that our podcast, again, our goal isn't just like to feed inspiration to people. We don't consider ourselves those kinds of people, but we are regular people, the average Joe. You're a casual person trying to do the right thing in a religious setting. And we want to be a little bit better today than we were yesterday. Small spurts, little tiny stepping stones where we grow personally and we grow professionally. We believe very wholeheartedly that the two are infused, one in the other. They go side by side. You got to apply your business to your personal values as well. And that's what we just try to do here. And we try to showcase examples of that and take one little small message at a time. You're doing it on a grand scale. I mean, you really are playing in the major leagues.
I have a great team. I really do. I have a great team. We have a staff of like 7-8 people.
Do you do this yourself? Do you host it yourself? Like, do you have a Oshie or a Michael?
So I have Momo Bauman. He's my co-host now. And when is this airing?
Probably this week.
Okay, yeah. Momo is amazing, and I'm sure we'll have other co-hosts, guest co-hosts. Like it's something that
so it's not it's not your partner. Like he's just somebody you have on as an additional.
He's
host.
been on for the last couple of years, but he's amazing. Momo's the best.
Brought him here as well. Why didn't he come?
Momo's busy, man. Momo's a business.
Let's invite him.
Yeah, Momo's the man.
We could do co-hosts together. We could do the podcasters.
Yeah, we should. How often do you do a podcast? How every week?
We put it out every week.
Every week.
Every single week.
And how many episodes are you in?
Over 200.
Wow.
Over 200.
Wow.
And it's gotten easier over time. It's gotten better.
Yeah. I'm sure things go a lot smoother now. You already know the system. You have it all.
I just have to tell you because it's on my mind. Sorry, guys. I'm a big fan of therapy.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is therapy when Oshie and I talk every week.
Yeah.
And we just, air our grievances or we talk about whatever it is.
The stuff, Billy?
Yeah, we grow through speaking to each other. I always say the reason why I believe friends are so important to one another is because it's therapeutic. It's having a friend is a form of therapy. what you're doing and the impact that you're having on everyone is therapeutic. When I'm listening to what you have to say or your guests have to say, it's not only therapeutic for them, it's therapeutic for us and us as a nation and us as a people. I think that it's just, we need it. And you touched upon this while you were talking. I'm thinking about it the whole time. I'm like, yeah, we're Holocaust survivors. We're, a lot of us have gone through a lot of, challenges in our life, and hearing other people's challenges and how they go through it. It's all part of the therapy that we're helping each other. And it's just really beautiful. I had to mention it.
I was the other day working out with a friend.
T4.
What's that?
T4.
What's T4?
You guys know what T4 is?
A workout.
No. You guys don't know what T4 is?
No, I don't know what T4 is.
Oh my God.
Should we know what that is?
Yeah, I'll explain it.
Jump right in.
So T4 is like, wow, I'm shocked. And T4 is like,
we may have to edit this because if it makes us look like total idiots,
we don't edit.
like we live under a rock or something.
I'm not going to let you. You get everything out. This is staying in.
Okay.
T4 is, your kids never told you what T4 is.
We might know about it if you tell us a little bit.
T4 is, let's say you walk in and you're like, oh, my back is killing. The Bentley seats are really not so comfortable. T4, T4
you
is
casually slip in something.
T4 is like, therefore you're
like, what time is it? Your Rolex.
Exactly. So you're like, so I was in the gym yesterday working out. I was killing it, pumping 150 pounds. And so I said T4. Like, so when someone says to you, like, honestly, if I didn't have that driver, I would be so tired right now.
You took the words out of my mouth, but I'm glad to learn this new.
Me too.
Because I was gonna say, oh, you're working out?
Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
amazing.
By the way, you're not gonna. By the way, I don't know who your friends are and stuff, but like, you're done. Like every time they open their mouth, the whole kiddish, you're gonna be like T4.
Oh God!
T4.
So in shul this week is I'm getting roasted. It's happening.
Oh yeah. If they hear this.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
They hear it. Believe
So you were
me.
working out. Yeah. Tell us, Soshi.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and now I feel like yeah. I didn't get out of my Bentley to go work out, but I went and I was with a friend, and the next day I felt extremely sore, like I couldn't move.
Feel so bad.
Yeah, I can't even say the story anymore with a straight face.
Thank you for that.
You
Nachi.
totally ruined it for me.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make a very important point, by the way.
Okay, let's see.
I may add, I was going somewhere with this. Anyway, so I text her. I said, by the way, I can't move again. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, I shouldn't have worked out so hard.
You see now, but I just ruined your brain. Yeah.
So then he writes back to me. He's like, me too. I'm also sorry I can't eat. Like, made me feel better. Like it wasn't just me. I felt like somebody was feeling my pain. I felt like he was commiserating me, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So, soft landing.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I said, I think the reason why people resonate so much with podcasts, especially yours, is that you hear other people's vulnerabilities and you hear other people's struggles, and they're sharing, they're talking about it. And that makes you feel a little bit better. Right. That you see that this is happening to others around me too. And, this is how they deal with it. I really wish I could have made this point a lot better. And I didn't use it.
I'm happy that it went this way because I was able to teach you something important.
Thank you. Our kids are going to be very happy.
Obviously,
how do you say it? You
T4.
You just T4? Or you just say T4?
T4? Right when you start your story.
Well, someone says something that sounds...
Someone says something, you roll your eyes, T4.
T4.
I was in a cafe in Cedarhurst, and I was wearing like a sweatshirt because I'm a regular person and I wear sweatshirts.
Okay.
And like people are like, why do you dress like on a podcast? Why do you wear a sweatshirt? I'm like, so this is the point I'm making. Like, I'm a regular person. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a rav. I don't hold to be one. I'm a regular person who loves what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And someone said to me, they're like, I appreciate that there's someone out there that's wearing a sweatshirt that is actually showing that like,
that's fine. That's normal.
Yeah, like you're not a sweatshirt. You happen to wear it. It's just like, you don't. I think that it's important for all us to know that giving over anything is not just exclusive to someone with a long beard and a rabbi prefix. We're all responsible to do that, and it doesn't matter if you wear a sweatshirt or if your hair is X long or whatever. Like these things are so not important.
Everybody has something to offer, and they could all contribute.
Right.
We're all a team, right? And everybody has to carry their weight a little bit. You can't just rely on the captain or the best player.
Exactly.
Everybody's got to do something if you want to really get a big win. The other day I went to a Vart, and Michael, you know what we're talking about.
Who's Vart?
I'm being very careful like what I'm going to be saying because I don't want to.
Don't be careful.
Now I'm going to be
you're being careful
about this T4.
T4.
Yeah. I go to this Vart, and I was going to go out with friends after the Vart, and I didn't want to put on a suit and tie and everything, go to the Vart and come home and change and go out. So like, what? I'm just going to do what's working for me right now. I'm just going to be comfortable. And I went on my jeans and my sweatshirt, and...
Terrible idea.
I know.
I'm kidding,
I know.
I'm kidding, I'm
But I did it anyway. And then I pull up to the hall. I said, wow, it's very busy. Like it was, I guess, very popular.
Oh my God. I went to a hall at an engagement party with over 100 people.
It was a fart. I didn't think it was going to be that.
And I
Anyway,
felt out of place
a
with
lot
my
of people,
jeans.
You
but
thought it
know
was
what?
going to be like a private
You know what?
meeting?
I said to myself at that moment, I said, I'm going to own it. I don't care. I'm just
Yeah.
going to walk in, and too bad whoever doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And I did. And I walked in, and of course, the comments came flowing within minutes. Everybody's, oh, what are you doing? But then there were some people who came over to me, like one guy especially, Shai Schiller, came over to me, and he's like, well, that's it. You have a podcast now. You can do whatever you want. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, maybe there's a little bit of perks to this, But I agree. I think that people should
Podcasters
just
get overanalyzed.
yeah,
That's
people
just
should just be themselves, be comfortable. You don't always have to be worried about what other people are going to think about you. Like, it's a tough way to live. It's very hard. It's so
Yeah.
much better free.
Listen, obviously, you be respectful and you do things that are social
respectful,
norms.
yes, yes.
And you be respectful. That's the most important thing.
Right.
But like,
Was that disrespectful, going to the bar dressed that way?
that depends who Vard was.
It's a matter of
Who's
how
your
much,
Rebbe's son, Vard?
how much do you
No.
care? That's all. It's like,
Yeah, I think it's fine.
do you want to show the person that you actually got dressed for his party or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
So if-
All right, Michael, we have to wrap up. I have 12 o'clock.
we have to throw
in the
Nachi out. Oh, okay,
It's
fine.
still
Yeah,
in the middle
sure.
of the day. We still have.
Yeah, thank
we
you.
Have, we have business over here. We need to function.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give us? We're 20 episodes in, and we care about making an impact simply because it's the brand of what we're trying to do is our journey and growing with us. And we really feel that business and personal are mixed. And that's really what our message is constantly. And
Yeah.
we should always have the values and grow. And we're trying to reach an audience. And, people ask us all the time, I go, who's your audience? What are you about? Any advice that you can give us?
Because we don't know right now. Like people
Right.
ask us, like, what's your podcast about? We're like, I'm not really sure.
It's unscripted.
yeah,
We just
exactly.
sit down. We talk to people.
It's
we're
just two
growing.
great guys with personalities just trying to talk about things that might make other people feel better. Is really
Right.
kind of what we're doing.
One great guy. It's
yeah, one and a half.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Hello.
2.5.
Thank you.
I think just consistency. Just keep doing it every week.
Yeah.
Keep doing it every single week.
Consistent. He was very particular about that.
Don't take I would say don't take a week off. Like it's gonna be difficult. It's hard. Keep doing it every single week, and just listen to what people want more. Like you'll find I'm sure you look at some episodes and some resonated more than others, and but the biggest message is consistency. Don't fall too much in love with the numbers. It's not all about the numbers. And if you continue to create good content, the numbers will come. It's just a byproduct of creating good content. It happens. It's not going to happen after 20 episodes. For me, it didn't happen after 20 episodes. And thank God now our podcast is extremely popular. But it's a slow roll sometimes. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just blow up. It takes time. So just create good content. That's it. And do it consistently.
And be consistent.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Nachi. This has been another episode of the None of Your Business podcast, sponsored by Prime Source. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, get involved. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Nat.
Thank you.
All right.